When it comes to expressing, it's really, really important not to express for the first 6 to 8 weeks. For the first 6 to 8 weeks, you're establishing breastfeeding. The supply and the demand needs to settle down, and the only way to do this is by direct breastfeeding with your baby for whenever the baby wants, for as long as they want, and it will settle down. You need to be close to your baby, you need to listen to the cues, you need to get to know your baby, and you're not going to be able to do this if you're wasting time expressing breast milk, giving it to the baby via bottle. It's not going to stimulate you as well as direct breastfeeding, so the best way is to get settled down is to make sure that you breastfeed on demand. Once it's established, if you've got to go back to work early, maybe you've got to go back at 6 to 8 weeks, and if that's the case, then you definitely will have to start expressing. You can express by hand, you can use a breast pump, you can use a manual breast pump, or you can hire an electric breast pump. Once you've hired it, it's a good idea to do that, because then you can try before you buy, and once you find one that you like and suits you, you can decide which one you want to buy, or you can just hire it for a month at a time. It's up to you. The important thing with breast milk is it's much, much better to give your baby fresh express milk. Lots of people used to spend a great deal of time stocking up their freezer with loads and loads of breast milk, and it actually is perfect for your baby on that day that you express it. It's perfect for a baby of 6 weeks old. If you put that in the freezer and then keep it there for 3 or 4 months and then give it to the baby, it's not the perfect breast milk for them at 4 or 5 months whenever you give it to them. So it also has lots and lots of properties in it that can be damaged by freezing and by thawing, and especially by microwaving. So never, never put breast milk in a microwave. It's also dangerous because you get hot spots and you could really dangerously burn your baby's mouth. If you keep breast milk in the domestic fridge, you can keep it between 3 and 8 days. That depends on whereabouts in the fridge you're storing it. If you put it in the freezer, you can keep it for up to 6 months. But as I said, it's still much better to give your baby fresh breast milk. If you go back to work, you can feed your baby before you go to work, give them a good feed, and then they'll be fine for a few hours. When you're at work, when you would normally breastfeed your baby the next time, express, use a pump, put it in a fridge, bring it home in a cool box, and then it can be given to the baby the next day. It's fresh, it's got all the anti-infective properties in it, nothing's been damaged, it's perfect for your baby on that day, and you don't have to build up a supply. You will have enough because that feed is the feed you would have been given the baby. So then as soon as you get home, you give the baby another breastfeed, and they haven't missed out at all. So that works. You can do that for as many months as you want to. The other thing to remember is night feeds are still really, really important. When you go back to work, your baby may not be having as much access to the breast during the daytime, so you probably will find that you're feeding all evening, and they have cluster feeds, that's what they call them, and they just want to feed on and off. This is not because there's not enough breast milk, it's because they know that they've got to get you to produce more for the next day. So if you feed them little and often all evening, that will be stimulating your breast to produce enough milk for the next day. And the night feeds, because your hormone levels are also higher at night, this increases your milk supply, and it means that you won't run out. Sometimes in the evening your milk supply may feel as though it's really low, the breast may feel quite soft, but that doesn't mean you've run out of milk. All you have to do is give unrestricted access to your breast with your baby, and your supply and demand will remain the same. Some days it will be up and some days it will be down. Every few weeks there will be what we call a growth spurt, and the baby will want to feed all the time, and it may be 24, 48 hours before they settle down again back into a new routine. But then your milk supply will have gone up to the next step.